Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hollywood Mate Connolly with the double biceps. It is in the contract a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. Get that bicep in there. It's the other one. There it is.
Oh,
There's two. We have seen two. The lawyers will be happy with that. Welcome to the Daily Combat Podcast. The man sitting to my left, but you're right, it is in fact the master of disaster, the king of sting, the Count of Monte Cristo, it is Thunder Lips, the ultimate male. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year Award. There it is there, the illustrious trophy held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard. And he's put his nomination in already for this year. It is, in fact, Dave Stockbridge. Welcome to the Daily Combat Podcast, which you founded.
Thank you very much for that very, very warm welcome. As always, Hollywood Matt Connolly, and today we have ourselves a very, very special guest on the podcast for a second time.
Yeah.
Shane AAA Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So, mate, you've been doing a lot of travel. First and foremost, very, very stylish. We're seeing the same guy, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
So,
the same guy.
Big shout out to Milap there at Lammy Largo, who's taking care of both of us. So if you're wondering why we do look so devilishly handsome, there's a clue for you. It's Milap there at Lammy Largo looking after us both, but seemingly doing a better job with you.
It's a very nice suit.
Yeah, very, very nice.
He does a good job, doesn't he? Yeah.
So what made you go with the, it's not quite all white, but it might look like that on camera, but
yeah,
it's...
like an off-white, grey. This is like a sort of a grey off-white.
It's the cream, the ivory, the white, the bone, the off-white.
No, I think it's just, I've always had darker colours. Wanted something lighter, something more for summer.
Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly what I said to him. I want something for summer.
Nice.
And he's like, I got you.
He knew.
Yeah.
You could just feel it.
Yeah, I actually didn't do too much. He just said, leave it with me. I'll sort you out. And he did.
I like the wide lapels here. I think that's a nice style choice.
Yeah, something different. That's what he was mentioning. He was talking about the lapels. Obviously, he's got his own sort of design, which he does.
Yeah.
You sort of know about that as well.
Yeah.
But they fit well. Yeah, they just fit great.
Yeah, looking good, mate. So looking all ready for business. And you've just come back from overseas just in the last couple of weeks. So a massive experience taking your talents overseas and testing you against the best in the world. And how are you feeling after that? First and foremost, it was almost like a call up that came out of the blue. So you had the adrenaline dump of, well, this is actually happening now. I'm heading overseas and first trip over there and didn't go your way. And so then there was that whole rebuilding. So it's been quite an emotional roller coaster for you over the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, emotional roller coaster is definitely the word. Yeah. Exactly like you said. Exactly like you said, it sort of did happen very fast. It happened all of a sudden. It went from being unsure of my career, is anything even going to happen, to all of a sudden something big's happening. Next thing you know, we're over in America twice in the space of 8 weeks, to fighting a world champion.
Yeah. What a whirlwind. Yeah. And what did you take away from the experience ultimately?
Definitely. The mindset definitely changed a lot. It took quite a bit away from this right at the start with the fight. Certainly, say when fighting. If we're going to go to my most recent fight against the world champion, one thing I took away from that. It was the levels to the sport. Just knowing that I feel like here in Australia I was at quite a high level. Then going out there, you're even seeing another level now. Just feeling like, his presence, just his skills in it. I was like, God, there's more work to be done. There's more work to be done.
And did it encourage? Are you encouraged to do that work now?
Yeah, this is where the the roller coaster of emotions come in. So straight after the fight, it hurts. It cuts you deep. Your pride gets sort of damaged, and you actually say to yourself, like, "Is this do I have what it takes? Is this? Am I meant to be here? Do I deserve to be here? Am I going to have the right tools and stuff to even get to the level of a world champion?" It definitely does play your mind. It makes you start thinking like, "Do I give up? Do I quit? Do I give up?" Like it definitely does. Certainly when you lose 2 fights in a row. And definitely when you start getting finished as well. I can't remember last time I got finished in a fight quite a while ago. But then this here is where it did make me think, if I quit, then what? Then what the hell am I going to do?
And at what point did the switch flip for you from being despondent and feeling, oh, shit, I've lost, to should I be here, to, you know what? I'm coming back. I'm coming back stronger and better.
Yeah, is just having the time to myself, thinking the whole process. Like just actually trying to not be too emotional about it and start really thinking about it. Start actually just getting in my head and thinking exactly what I said there. We're like, if I quit, then what? Like, what do I do from there? Do I just go do a regular 9-to-5 job and live off a paycheck, the same paycheck every single week? So I don't want that. I don't want that at all. And that's where I was just like, nah, like you only really lose when you quit, when you give up. That's when you lose. When you lose is when you just give it all up, certainly knowing that there's more. There's definitely more there. It's not like my body's breaking down. There's no real excuse. Just because I lost, that's a pathetic excuse to just quit. That's what I started saying to myself. Like, you think anything in life, you like the real estate, like you're trying to get a listing, someone else gets it, you just quit.
Yep, I've thought about it.
No, it's just like anything. Like that's what I just started saying to myself. I'm like, man, you lost a couple of fights. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
like it's not the end of the world. Like as if you would even think to quit just because of a couple of setbacks.
Well, it's hard to know because you've been winning for so long, and then to get to that point, it must be in some part really confronting to be on the other side of the win-loss ratio.
Yeah, and I think that definitely plays a role as well. That's where you always hear people saying loss is good. As in losing is good. Like going through sort of any adversity and hardships only going to make you better. I feel like if all you did was win, then when something bad happens, you're going to break, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's sort of when someone breaks. So I feel like just with anything in life over the years, the losses, the setbacks actually does make you a hell of a lot stronger, that's for sure.
And for those that are just jumping in on the conversation who mightn't have seen our first episode together, excuse me, you've really been at the top of the food chain in Australian MMA for a very long time, and really knocking on the door of going international and taking that next step, which a lot of people around the game have been thinking could have happened any time in the last 4 or 5 years. And in your own career, you were thinking, well, I've done everything there is to do here in Australia. There's more risk associated with stepping in the cage and losing at this stage because that could cost me an opportunity overseas. But what else do? You keep stepping in there, and you really became the target for everybody else to try and knock out to make a name for themselves. Somehow, at the end of that, you've remained hugely successful, but still the doors weren't opening internationally. And then through some fateful telephone calls and some meetings, you were able to secure some representation that secured you that spot on the PFL card, and that all of a sudden loomed as that big opportunity you've been waiting for. And your first fight in the PFL was earlier this year, and it's an interesting kind of system that they've got there, where you could have 2 or 3 fights in the lead up to having your championship fight if that presented. And so you had your first fight, didn't win, but if you'd knocked your opponent out in the first round of the second fight, that would have given you a chance to perhaps advance and then compete for the championship. So you were really in it at every step of the way. Even though you might have had that first loss, you could have gone over there, had that knockout, and as we're speaking now, you could be competing for a world championship belt very, very soon.
Yeah.
So it could have gone either way. Yeah. So close, and I guess that you got to that point, and whereas it would have been really easy to think, well, I got close, I could just give it away and no one's going to blame me. And, I've done everything there is to do and everybody will think I'm a legend. But you've decided to come back and straight back into training and start preparing. And what are you now preparing for? What are your next steps on the way back to where you'd like to go?
Well, look, obviously I'm hoping I'm still going to continue fighting in the PFL. Mm-hmm. The original signing, they sort of have me locked in for 3 years.
Okay.
They can release you if they desire.
Yeah, they've released me. They didn't even sign me. They just released me, but they hadn't actually signed me.
So look, I'm hoping to continue on with them. But I think the biggest thing right now is, definitely just right now, just focus sort of growing, getting better at the next level, the next step.
And have you given thought to what your game plan is for that? Does that mean training more overseas or mixing things up more locally, or have you got a strategy now in mind?
I would like to definitely try and train a bit more overseas. I would like to do that. I found certainly talking to some of these high level guys, certainly the world champions, like I went out for a coffee 2 days after my fight with the guy I just fought, the world champion.
Yeah.
We went out and caught up. One of the biggest things like he even said was that he's from Sweden. He moved from Sweden to Vegas, went for Randy Couture's dream. He's at Extreme Couture. He said, like even him, one of the biggest things that sort of made his career grow was putting himself in a situation where every single training partner is just elite. Yeah, so just surrounding yourself with just elites.
Yeah.
It's like anything in life, isn't it, though? Like,
Yeah.
if you want to be the best, you got to sort of surround yourself with the best.
Yeah, well, the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if they're all world champions, they have a chance. You know, it's going to happen to you as well.
Yeah.
You just get into that pattern of behaviour. So how is it? There must be some challenges associated with being an MMA athlete on the other side of the world to where all of that activity really is. So how do you chart out a pathway to do all of this now, both financially, like how do you make it work with in terms of your profession and what it is that you'd normally do to support yourself? How do you make all of those cogs work smoothly so you can make that next step?
Because really good question, because I want the answer as well. I love it. Yeah, like, that has been one of my biggest questions. Look, I'm even at the point where I'm probably going to sell my house.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm probably going to.
Wow.
I'm even at that point where I need to make some big changes if I want to go far and be very unique, certainly in the world. I know I'm going to have to do some. I wouldn't call them sacrifices, but I'm just going to have to make some moves on the chessboard which are a bit unique. Like they're not your just everyday mainstream
stuff that your mum might be a little bit upset about. If
definitely stuff that would probably make her worry. So I'm actually considering doing that. For working out sort of my whole life, so restructuring my whole entire life, so I have a bit more freedom. I might need to sacrifice some, like I said, my house or something like that. I do have quite a big property right now, which is great, but I know I probably don't need that if I want. Like if my career and sort of my life is my number one priority, I know I'm going to have to cut back on a lot of other things, which I think I'm going to have to most likely do that. And hopefully that'll open up a pathway to go overseas. Because man, that's been one of the biggest questions I ask everyone is just like, how do these people just pack up, move overseas and just live? Certainly when with our visas, you can't exactly just go pick up a full-time job. Yeah. And that like you need quite a good savings behind you to support you for quite a while. So that's something.
So these are all things you're genuinely working through right now.
Yeah, these are all things I'm looking at right now. First things first is finding out what's going on with my contract. I don't know yet. I'll hopefully find out soon what's next for my actual career. Yeah. But I know I need some big changes. I know I'm going to have to make some big calls coming up.
So in part, I guess, now that you're in this PFL contract, I guess what they're hoping from you is that you are feeling this way and that you are ready to go to that next level and to maybe make those sacrifices to get yourself close to that epicenter of MMA action where they can keep a closer eye on you and very much have you in consideration and know you better so that they can kind of match you better to those opportunities perhaps.
Yeah, look, it's a difficult one.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It's real leap and a prayer stuff, isn't it? You know, if you feel that's where your heart is, that's really where you got to go. Yeah,
exactly. And I feel like as well, what I'm trying to do now in my life is not get too emotionally attached to things that don't matter. I feel like everyone does it, and it's very difficult. Yeah, a house is a perfect example. Like you're always being taught to just buy a house, sit on it, stay on it, just love it. Yeah. Like certainly with the material things, so like even like say cars, stuff like that. But I think there's a lot more to growth, like a bit of buy, sell, make the right moves. Yeah, like I found in the past maybe I have been getting a little bit more emotionally attached to where I am right now, like staying around all my friends, family, having the thought of like I have to be close to them. I have to hold on to my house. I have to hold on to my car. I have to hold on to all these things. Yeah. And I know now, that the path to going up bigger is, getting rid of these emotional attachments to certainly materialistic things. When it comes to friends and family, like I know I can be on the other side of the world and I'm still going to be very close to these people. I don't need to be in their backyard every single day to be close to these people. And I think I need to get that mindset, get that out of my mind and know I can be on the other side of the world and still have a very good, strong relationship with all my friends and family.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there because you've got that aspect of you've been a big fish in a small pond for a long time, and that can be a really satisfying place to be. You know, when you're at the top of the tree, you've got everybody's respect. You've got the house, you've got the car, you've got the cool job, you've got the reputation,
Suit.
And more importantly, you've had to kind of work out, how do I detach myself from those things, or see them for what they are, and ensure that they're not holding me back from doing what I really want to do. So you're 31 now. So is it also a matter of, well, I'm 31. If I'm going to do it, now's the time to do it as well.
Yeah, so
let's roll the dice.
I'm still very young, fit. Like my body's still in good shape. Yeah, 100%. I know this is the time I want to do it.
And you're not married or anything that?
No.
Not dirty nose off.
So that's the thing. Like I sort of have nothing holding me back. The only thing that's holding me back right now is just my own emotional attachments towards materialistic things, which I know is just, when you think about it, it's stupid. It's stupid holding on to all this stuff, because I know in the long run, I'm not gonna think, I'm so glad I just kept my house forever
and gave up on my dream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'm so glad I never sacrificed anything.
Yeah,
like, just I know later on it's gonna absolutely kick myself if I don't sort of let go of these attachments to pointless things.
Yeah. So what was it out of those losses that gave you a sense that, you know what, I can be a world champion? These sacrifices, if I made them, will be worthwhile.
What, as in what made me?
Yeah, what made you think, okay, well, I can do it. You know, this isn't pie in the sky. I've lost a couple of times here, but you know what? I think I can still be the world champion.
Just because you just look at other world champions, other fighters, look at their records. Like there's a lot of flawless records, or not a lot, but like your Khabibs, like undefeated. It's very, very rare. But you look at a lot of other like very high class fighters. They might not be world champions, but they might still be like very recognized top fives, fighting on just elite levels. A lot of them, they went through plenty of losses. They went through times like where they're dipping down and stuff like that. So I just knew, like, it's not impossible. It's definitely not impossible. And I just started, because I always would say, how do they do it? And then I just knew, like, I mean, I can sit there and just say, how do they do it? And then do nothing myself. But then I've just sort of realized now, like, oh, this is how they did. They sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
They're doing all the things I'm starting now to think, like, the guys who left smaller cities, went to bigger cities, they just sort of packed up everything, gone. They made those big sacrifices that the majority of people will be too afraid to do.
So was it in part that conversation with your opponent that it kind of led to you revisiting a lot of these things?
No, not really, but it definitely helped. It definitely just gave me a little more kick to be like, oh, all right, I just got to do it. I got to stop. Like, so I've known for a while, like, it's going to be good for you if you do make those sacrifices. 100% is going to get you further in, say, like your sporting career or stuff like that. But that definitely made me go like, I think it's time. I think it's time we got to stop just thinking about it and start acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear these stories of a lot of fighters when they were starting their careers and they were living out in their cars, or they were sleeping on mattresses at friends' places, and they were doing absolutely everything and anything they could just to be in the gym, to be surrounded by the people that were teaching them. You know, you've got your Matt Serras, you got even Ronda Rousey was living in a car at one point, and so many of these people that were like, I'm willing to forego a house, a career, a job, money, anything to do this, because this is the thing that makes me the most happy, and I can see myself making this a career. So it was like you've gotten to that point where you're like, I've got these things, but this is what I really want, and if I want to push it that way, I need to let go of that.
100%, yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in those things, because certainly, like, I'm going back to a house, because a house is like such a big checkpoint for people in life. Like, you think when you're growing up through certainly your 20s, you're like, I want a house, and you finally get it. It's so hard to let it go. Like the same, I didn't get a house till I was like, I think 28, and I thought that was quite late, because I was, out of all my friends, I was one of the last ones to actually buy a house. So when I finally got one, it was just such a huge, like, nice, like, such a good feeling. And that, but then, I'm only 31 now, so it's only been about 3-4 years I've actually had a house. And like, it's been very hard to just want to let it go, just to swing the emotion, because like such a long build up of like, I want a house. Like, it'd be a dream to own my own house. I think that's the dream for a lot of people.
And all that confirmation from friends and family,
exactly.
that is the right thing to do, and they're cheering for you when you buy the house.
Exactly. And then when you talk about, I might sell the house, they're like, no, don't do it. Like,
It almost, and that's what's intriguing about this this journey that you're on at the moment, because it would almost be better if you were like Ronda Rousey and you were 21 years old and you had nothing and you were sleeping in a car.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's cool. That's a nice little. That's a story. But when
You
you're
didn't give up
31 and you
everything
sell
to
it
do
all, and you give up everything, your nice house and your nice life and career and quite a comfortable position to really go back to that life maybe that was of 7 or 8 years ago for a lot of people.
Those materialistic items, if you continue down that path of them claiming that ownership over you and taking that attention and preventing you from doing the things that you want to do, over time you come to resent them and be like, I wish I hadn't. I hate this house. It stopped me from doing what I wanted to do, you know?
Yeah. Well, you look in, you know exactly well this. Look in 10, 15 years' time, I guarantee your house is outdated.
Yeah.
Like, so I've just recently done up my whole entire house, and that's another thing that makes you more emotionally attached. I put in so much work in my house to the point where I've finally got it to the point I'm like, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And now I'm
Sell it.
Yeah. But then, yeah. So exactly.
75% of people that renovate sell within 3 years.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So in 10 years' time, it's outdated. Yeah. So in 10 years' time, like, you're going to probably have a different mindset. You're probably going to start thinking like, my house looks like crap. And that. Yeah, so
I gave up on my career.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for this shitty house.
But then, if you do become a world champion, or you do get into a position where you are getting international fights, and it's like, this is my thing, and I'm loving this, despite the fact you might not be making as much money as what you could be making in a normal job here or whatever. It's like, oh, this is my thing. I'm so happy, and even if I haven't got the nice fancy house or whatever, I'm happy like living in an apartment or wherever and just getting by because I get to do the thing I really love doing, and I think that's the big difference.
Well, one of the things as well, like, I just look at my life. I just look at my life right now, and I was like, what actually sort of makes me an interesting person, and sort of like from other people and even myself. And no one ever says like, oh, you're interesting because you own a house.
I've never met anyone that owns a house.
That's what I mean. No one ever says that. Like, the thing that makes you interesting is like what you do. Like, say for me, my sporting career and stuff like that. That's what makes you interesting. So, so I mean, like, I should definitely try and amplify that as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, rather than.
Yeah, the safe option is it looks safe on the surface, but it is not safe at all. It's the most dangerous thing you can do because you're giving up absolutely everything you want to do in the one time you get to live a life, and you're going, oh yeah, what'd you do with your life? Well, I paid a house off and worked a crappy job I hated. And that's what I don't want. That's what I'm trying to look ahead, and I'm trying to look ahead and making sure that in 10 years' time I don't think like that. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. That's what sort of gets me going. Like the thought of the quitting, I actually just said to myself, like, if I decide to just hang the gloves up, I was like, what? Then what? And I literally just sat there and I was thinking,
golf.
Like,
golf.
Yeah.
What job am I going to do?
Yeah. Well, like, what am I going to do just with my life in general? Like, am I going to be happy with it? And I just thought, no, probably not. Like, this sport and lifestyle of the professional athlete is very mixed emotions, very stressful at times, but overall, you look at it, it's awesome. I just know later on in life you're gonna look back and be like, yeah, I did something pretty cool. I had a lot of like awesome experiences. And they're the things you're gonna be happy about. So I would be kicking myself if later on I just said to myself, you quit halfway through. You could have had better.
Could have been a contender.
Yeah. And I know even if I can be real, and I know even if I don't get to a world champion status, I still know the experiences along the whole way is just priceless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it is out of the ordinary, and it's very special people that will actually take the chance. And you might find that you might have met people that were more talented, or they had better opportunities, and they didn't take them, or they just wasted them, and to follow the safe path. And it was like, man, that dude could have been fucking unstoppable. And it's like, and he's just gone into, I don't know, running a machine for 10 hours a day or something.
How many people say it though? Like, you listen to all our oldies. Like, how many of the grandparents and oldies just say about when they're older what they wish they did, what they regretted. It's always they wish they just went for just sacrifice and just went for gold on everything.
That's right.
On their deathbed, that's what they all say.
Yeah.
So now you've been over there, you've had a taste of it. What was it like being part of a world class promotion and the whole production and the behind the scenes and getting your photos taken and signing all the posters? What was apart from the fighting? What was all of that like?
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Like, it's definitely something different. That's for sure. Definitely doesn't feel like you're in Australia anymore. Like, because we don't really have anything in Australia that big.
Yeah.
And that. So yeah, it's definitely cool. Just all the media stuff. I find I'm quite a composed person though, so it's not like I get too overwhelmed by it. Yeah, no, it's definitely a good experience.
Was it distracting at all?
Yeah, that's what a little bit like. There's some parts where you sort of I just want to relax. I just cannot be bothered with this, but you just got to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely comes with it. But then at the same time, a part of me does think like you're signed to this promotion. You work for these guys, and that. So if they, this is part of the sport.
Yeah.
If anything, media is probably the biggest part of the sport. Like we're entertainers, so a lot of the time you can even see a lot of time the promoters and the organisations they don't really care massively about your comfort. They actually probably don't give a shit about your comfort. Right. They care about how it runs, the entertainment side of things. Yeah, like does the show look good? Yeah. So for example, my last fight, when I was walking out. They're like, so they got the camera guy. They get you in change room, like, you're on, let's go. And they got a camera in front of you. You're walking. They sort of tell you like, all right, stop here. And then they'll tell you like, all right, walk, let's go. Like, as in walk to the cage. And like my fight, like I remember I try to just keep very calm, leading up until when I'm getting into the cage. Then I'll hype myself up. Then like, because I'll be restless all day long, and I know like, save it. That's your energy there. That restlessness is your energy. Just it's annoying because you're there like, I hate this feeling like that. But I'm like, nah, leave it for the fight. And then when the camera guy was like, all right, walk. I'm like, yep, let's go. It's go time like that. And I start like revving myself up. But then they're like, stop. Yeah, they're like, stop. But then obviously it must be something to do with the broadcast.
Yeah.
And they kept me standing there for like 15 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, ages.
Wow.
They kept me there for ages to the point where I'm like sort of even looking in my corner like, are they waiting for me to do something? Like, what's going on here? To the point where I'm like, because I'm like jumping around to the point where I'm like standing still. I'm just like, and they've got me standing like pretty much in the middle of the crowd, like in the walkway. Like imagine on UFC walkout. So imagine they just got me standing in the walkway. And I'm just like,
why? It's so weird.
What is happening?
And because all of this is off camera, you don't have.
They don't see that. Yeah, as in the broadcast, you won't see that on the broadcast. They're obviously waiting. There's probably adverts playing or like something going on. They're probably playing media. I actually got no idea, but they're probably like having the commentators talk or have a conversation about something. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like it's all about the production. It's all about there. Like you can tell those parts, they didn't really care how I felt.
Yeah.
And that like.
Whether it affected your performance or not.
Yeah.
And there was no preparation for that in terms
I had no idea
of
they're going to do that.
They just, we're going to
had no idea. I thought I was walking to the cage. I literally G'd myself up hard. I was like, this is it. I'm fighting a world champion. Like I tried to make myself see a little bit red coming into this because I knew I had to finish him in the first round. Yeah. I'm like, all right, let's go, G up. Like you're going in hard here. So like, like you're gonna have to bite down here. And like this guy's a weapon as well. So yeah, it's on. It's on. Like, and I even knew. I was like, I'm realistic. I even knew if I know some people probably think I shouldn't say this stuff, but I knew if I was going to get knocked out, this is the guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I know in my head. I know it's not the best mentality to have. It's like you shouldn't think. But I'm real. I'm realistic. I could not help but to think if I'm going to get KO'd, this is the guy who's going to KO me.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing, and that makes you just sort of rev up even more and like bite down. Like you got a job to do. Like this is it. You're getting locked in with him. Like
so you're getting all of this energy together, and then it's like
I prepared for this the whole entire week building up. I even prepared for this sort of like relax, build it up, like just keep it in you, and then when it's go time, release it all.
And did that happen in both fights, or because you had the first fight, so that didn't happen the first time? You just walked straight out.
No, it didn't. No, because I was a main event. We had the longer walks and the bit more dramatic walks. Yeah, and that. So that one there was just they'll like go boom in.
You're in. So you're thinking that's going to be pretty much the same.
Yeah. I thought it'd be smooth, but it's just sort of knowing that when they tell you.
Because the Dave Stobbridge award, son,
it's gone forever.
Sort of just knowing that when they tell you walk, like go, you're like it's on. That's it. Here we go. This is the time. And that, but then they're like stop.
Wow. And were you able to fire back up again?
No, not as much. Not as much. I was trying to, but not. I still could. Still, because it's like the situation I'm in still had a little bit of the rush going.
Right.
But not as much as
You would have
I
liked.
would have when I was there initially, like walk. Yeah, even like one of my corner weren't too happy about that because they could see I like really G'd myself up. I was like really cool, calm, G'd myself up hard. I was like bouncing around the spot and I'm sort of like just waiting, like, come on, it's got to happen soon. Like, no, it's like 5 minutes gone, starting to slow down. And I sort of got to the point where I was just standing still waiting. Like,
The same thing happened with George St. Pierre once. He was he was the main event, and usually they'll time out their fights on UFC. It'd be like, it's 20 minutes or it's 25 minutes, no matter what happens. So somebody could walk out there, get knocked out in 5 seconds. It's still going to be 25 minutes until the next fight.
Yeah.
For some reason, they didn't do that for this, or maybe they're running late or something, and he was the main event, and they're like, George, we need you out right now. Like, he's like, hey, what? I'm not warmed up or anything. And it's like, too bad, we need you. Like, and he's like, okay. And he ended up tearing his adductor muscle throughout the fight. I think he said, hey, look, I'm a professional. I should have been ready for any situation. Blah, but, it is one of those things.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's part of the big promotions, but you got to accept it. Like you're fighting on their promotion, they're paying us good money. It's a business. They're running a business, so you do have to know like we're entertainers, and we got to sort of do what.
Which is why it was frustrating with your first fight. The way that the guy fought you is like the most unentertaining way you could fight someone.
Man, and that's coming in. That style is coming in so much. Like at the DFC, we had a few guys get done with that.
Lay and break.
Yeah. So that style was coming in massively. It's just shutting out. Certainly, Cardioflex, for example, where pretty much all of us go in looking to stand.
Yeah.
And that where I find the guys are very well rounded. They are very well rounded, but we like to stand. And I think that's starting to catch on a lot now. And then certainly when you're amateurs, you think they're only 3-minute rounds. Fight goes for 9 minutes. Like you can bite down. Like certainly you've been training hard. You can bite down for 9 minutes and just go for gold. And now that style of just grab hold of him, do not let go. Like stay on that offense, like keep him in defense, stay on offenses and just grapple him. You don't even need to be doing damage. Just be on the offense, just be charging him, just hold on to his body. 9 minutes. That's all we need. Three rounds. It's very easy to win that. Very easy to win that.
What happened to the calf kick trend?
It's still there.
Is it still there?
It's still there. But you do get, this is why PFL had that system in place where, you had your points system. If you won in the first round by a knockout, you're the guy that we want to promote. Like, we don't want this slay and pray style because it's boring to watch. Audiences hate it. The fighters don't enjoy it. People coming paying money to see that fight or paying for the pay-per-view are like, man, that was a waste of time, waste of money. They were supposed to be fighting, and this dude just hugged him for 15 minutes.
Yeah, they want entertainment.
And how much did that rule set or the scoring system factor into your preparation and what you were hoping to do in that fight?
In the second fight?
Yeah, or either of them.
Well, the first fight, look, honestly, I went in pretty confident in my first fight. I thought I had him. Honestly,
Me too.
I honestly say, I know a few people who did. Yeah, don't worry, they let me know. I underestimated that guy, man. Like, even look at him, he didn't look the neatest. I'm a good chat with him after his team after. I even told him about, man, on video, you do not look the neatest, nor do you look like you're in ridiculously good physical shape. But when you actually feel the dude, I'm like, man, he's strong as shit on that. Like, yeah, he's just got heart, man. He's just got the dog in him. And I think that's the part of living in Mexico and that and
it's a harder life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think just that style right there, it's so effective now having that. He had really good wrestling. He's extremely strong, very good base, and just had the dog in him. Just kept going. I could even tell. Like, at no point did I feel threatened of getting finished, but I knew, like, man, this guy's not going to stop. He wants to win. He's more than happy to go to decision. He just wants to win.
So you're factoring this in as you're fighting him, thinking, okay, well, he's going for the win. This is his tactic.
Yeah.
Maybe then for me, fight 2, I've got to be preparing. Are you having any of those thoughts in the moment?
Well, or in the moment of the fight, I even like, oh man, he's not even like, even when say we're down, I'm like, he's not even really looking to pass heavily. He's not really looking to finish me here. He just wants to hold me down. I'm like, he just wants to hold me down. And then if I do start getting, I can't remember how many times I got up. I got up quite it's like 6 or 7 times. I got back up off the floor. But even then, I'm like, he's just latching on to me and he's just trying to drag me to the floor. Like, he's not even really trying to do mass damage here. Like, Yeah, and it's hard to deal with. It's really hard to deal with because I even know in my head I was just like, he just wants to hold me here. He's happy. I know he's just happy to do this the whole fight. I'm like, because a lot of the time I'm like, wait for the opening, like wait for him to get a little bit too over the top, and like they might break off and try to swing at me, and that's where I'm gonna catch it.
Yeah,
this guy, nah. I know, like, nah, he's not gonna do that. He's just gonna do this the whole fight. He's just gonna try and drown me.
Wet blanket.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it felt like.
It's that's what's frustrating is when you're watching that sort of a fight take place, and it's like, God, because the dude is not trying to finish. He wants to hold on to you for 15 minutes to get a decision victory, and it's like, this is supposed to be a fight.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's so frustrating. And I know it's within the rules, and fair enough, and he did the job, and sure.
It gets it done. That's the thing. I've been saying to our teammates, like that style is coming in heavily now, and there's no real excuses. We got to try and deal with it. Like, we can't just complain about it. I was going to say to the guys as well, like, a lot of people are going to do that, just certainly get wins. And certainly in the regional and stuff like that, build up their records. Like, it is a very effective style, but you can't just sit and complain about it. We've got to work out a way to...
Yeah, but that's from promoter's side, like the people who win like that, they don't usually get the opportunities that other people that have a very flashy style or very aggressive style where, you know, it's entertaining and fun to watch, and it's like, you know, they're putting, I mean, Cerrone or somebody like that, or Gaethje, who's, you know, going into a war every time. These guys, you want to see their fights because it's like, you know, something crazy is going to happen. Whereas you get a guy like John Fitch, who had, I think, 17 wins in a row. They wouldn't give him a title fight.
Yeah,
they're like, we don't want this dude having the title.
Khabib had to hustle hard to get his big shots. You know? Even though he's a pretty... he's a bit different. He is very entertaining because he actually did beat the shit out of people.
Oh yeah, he was great. He would take them down, but then he would absolutely crush them as well. Smash them.
Yeah. But yeah, I can guarantee, certainly over in Europe, like the Russian countries, and that, there'll be so many fighters out there who have that style. Not that entertaining, but very difficult to beat, and they probably have insane records, but they're not getting signed because they're not entertaining.
That's right. Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah.
You look at the very entertaining guys, like you see for Gaethje, for example, extremely entertaining. You look at their records are far from flawless.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, win one, lose one, win one, lose one.
But everyone loves them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I want to see a fight. You go to see fighting. You want to see a fight. I want to see.
So in that second fight, you were going in there thinking, well, to get through, I'm gonna need the knockout. So your style, you're going in there differently. Your mindset's a lot different to the first. You've got no real safety net.
Yeah, a bit more aggressive. Straight away after the first fight, and I didn't even have my matchup yet. I knew whoever I get, got to try and finish him quick.
Yeah.
I remember even our team was just like, we don't mind any of the matchups as long as we don't get Sadi Boo. As long as we don't get the champ, that'd be good. They're he's very evasive, very long, very lethal. And they're like, I think we have a good, we have that solid chance of getting a first round finish as long as we don't get him. And then
that's what you get.
Oh yeah, exactly. And they just send you a message.
They make it up. They set it up, and then you just get a text message.
Yeah, we got like a group chat, like a WhatsApp group chat with the matchmakers, and they just simple message like, Shane, you're fighting Sadi Boo.
No, damn it. Okay.
This isn't Shane.
Who's this?
It's the wrong Shane.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's not funny at all. But time differences, they messaged me, and I didn't read until as soon as I woke up. I sort of like rolled over, I got my phone. First thing I read in the morning. No. I remember, like, do you know when you're in the morning, like, first when you wake up, you just, last thing I want to do
is this still a dream?
Yeah.
Is this still a dream?
I was just like, shook my head, just had a little laugh. Just put my phone, just checked my phone. I was like, you're kidding me. Didn't respond to it then. I was like, of course. But when I got given that matchup, straight away, the hardest thing was like, oh man, I need a first round finish. He's going to be the hardest guy to finish in the first round. And that was the thought straight away.
And what was your plan then? What were you thinking?
My plan was just wiped out all the emotion. I was just, I got a job to do. Like, who really gives a shit how you feel? Yeah. And just go in and try and get it done. Like, that's it. I was just like, try and erase that sort of emotion, that doubt, because you can't help it. He's a world champion. Of course there's doubt. Like that. It's impossible to get matched up against the world champions, the only one not only just been signed to the promotion, and they're like, here's the champ. It's nearly impossible to not have a bit of doubt. Yeah, like I knew in my head, like exactly what I said before. If I get knocked out, like if I'm going to get knocked out, this is probably the guy.
Yeah,
and I knew that, but I just try to erase all that, erase all the emotion, and then just go by just professional, just think business, and that just every time that little spike of
doubt or fear,
comes up, just try and get rid of it. Just don't think about your feelings. Like screw your feelings, business. Let's go. Yeah,
that's one of those things though. If you could almost look at it from the point of view of, okay, well, if I'm going to do it against anybody and go in there and get a first round knockout, if I get it against this dude, that means I really belong here, and this is the biggest opportunity it could be, and probably the best result that I could get out of this tournament. If I knock out the world champion in the first round. There's nothing better that could happen. I mean, obviously, winning the $1 million would be nice too, but
yeah, they're great. And well, I mean, that's one thing I try to start. I try to take out the emotion, take out the negative feelings, and then I just try to think about the possibilities. Like, straight away, like you said there, if I do take this guy, like that's huge.
It means you really belong in this sport at the upper levels.
But then I also just try to think, like, just try and you can pretty much be in any situation and get a positive thought out of it. I just try to find them. Like I said, straight away, I was just like, I just tried telling myself, wow, like what an honor. You're fighting the fucking world champion.
Yeah.
I was like, how many people get to do that? Like,
Absolutely.
I was like, people like just battle and work so hard to fight the champ.
Yeah.
Like people were just harassing the promoters over and over again. Like, I want the champ. Look in the UFC, how many people just hound Dana White to get the champs.
Yep.
I just got given him.
That's
I just got given him straight away. So I try to think of that like, wow, what an opportunity. Like you get to fight this level. You get to fight. Yeah. So only, you got to fight as a main event as well on a world, like, a global, like a major promotion. I just, try to have those thoughts going on in my head. Just trying to think, no matter the outcome, just think of the opportunity you just got given.
How did you feel in the fight? Was there a moment there where you're like, oh, I'm doing all right here? Or
first round, first few exchanges, I thought like, okay, like, not massively outclassed here. Like, I was like, I can get some things going on him. I did feel that. He was extremely hard to punch him in the head, punch him in the face, extremely hard. So evasive.
So it's a distance as well?
Yeah, and he's just gone, long legs, like even him just leaning back, like and his range, he had an 8-inch reach advantage.
Oh, God.
That's what I mean. So
it's like an extra arm length.
Yeah. And it's like one of his steps to mine.
Yeah.
That's what it honestly felt like. And every single time, so he threw something, and I was like, all right, time to enter. He's just gone. We even trained. Yeah, we even trained for like, I know he's going to run away. I'm going to try and catch him as he's running.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and like walk through, try and catch him as he's going through. But even then, I'm like, he's still so far away.
Wow.
I'm like, that was the annoying thing in the fight. Like,
right.
Yeah, the big part of the fight was like, man, this guy is very hard to get in on. Or any time where I thought like, oh yeah, I might be able to enter here, I could just see him loading a kick. Like, exactly. That's exactly like, do I want to take that on? So it was difficult, very difficult fight. He's very cool, calm, collected.
Yeah.
That's
what would you do differently if you had to fight him again?
I think I might try and grapple. He rocked me hard in the second round. He had me on the cage. He actually took me down. Funny enough, when we were actually on the floor, even though he was in my guard, then I actually felt like, okay, he's actually not massively, he doesn't feel like too much of a force on the ground compared to, like, say, my first fight. He was just how heavy he was, and the presence and force of him on the ground was like, oh man, you knew this guy's going to be a nightmare on the ground. He was a little bit different. He had like a little bit more space, not so much pressure. So straight away after, I thought, I wish I could, like, I think I would have more success on the ground. I feel like, like if I had to choose between the stand up and the ground would be a nice place to give it a go.
Yep.
Saying that, he's not easy to take down.
No.
Yeah, like you look at his fights, he's got extremely good takedown defense now. And there's a few times where I'm like, I might actually try and like grab some legs here and look take him down. But like I was saying, just that kick, and it comes very fast. It's easy. It's easier said than done. Like, before the fight, you can say, like, I'm going to try and take him down. And then when you're in there, you're like, all right, let's try and take him down.
Where is he?
Yeah. And then you go, there's one that's that, or like he's sort of sitting there, like ready. He's sort of counter fighting. And I'm like, all right, change my levels, like trying to set someone up. And then as you sort of go to change your level, you can see he's like, the hip move.
Oh, he
yeah,
knows. He
just
knows.
Close the door.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He knows exactly. Yeah. He's like he's predicting it. I'm like, this is easy said than done. It's probably going to be either a big kick or a knee.
And I guess from his perspective, he's more used to fighting guys of your physicality, but the other way around, he's such an unusually shaped individual that it's hard to understand how to fight somebody who's
Oh yeah. Do you know
got those attributes.
Do you know how many people have tried to give me advice on how I'm going to beat him? Yeah.
It's like trying to
People
beat an
that have
alien,
never
like-
fought before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So,
What you should have done.
yeah.
What you should have done is
You've
grown
never
your
fought
arms.
in your life. You've never stepped in the gym.
That's one thing that's actually quite entertaining. Like when I'm fighting on the regional here, you don't get too many just random people messaging you
Right.
advice. But as soon as you go on something like
Because
this,
they know they might meet you one day. That's why.
Yes, that's true.
yeah. But like I said, Sue, it's like on this show, the amount of people, like the amount of message you get, it's quite entertaining.
Everyone's got an
Like,
opinion. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Everyone's got an opinion.
Everyone
Yeah.
thinks they know. What was the main thing? Was there a theme that everyone said you should have done this?
And what
Oh,
was
yeah,
the craziest thing that somebody said?
The main thing they told me is like, because he obviously caught me with a head kick.
Yeah.
The main thing they told me was, why
out
didn't you get out of the way?
I thought I could take it.
Did you see it coming?
Good God, no.
No, it just seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
And, that's what. Why did you get out of the way?
What do you think? I meant to get kicked in the head?
Next time, use your eyes. You know,
If you didn't lose, you would have won.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the main thing out of feel those, like, yeah, as if you didn't just step out the way.
So, all right, you get in the cage with me. I'll throw a kick like that, and you get out of the way.
And I also beat you up for 3 rounds prior.
That's
and then
right.
you're going to try and move,
Yeah, but you held your own for the majority of that up until that point. You were still in there. You were still, I
Yeah.
mean, this guy's a world champion, and you're there, not looking like you don't belong.
Yeah, no, I felt smooth. Like, the thing with these, certainly, say him, for example, it can be over in pretty much one strike.
Yeah,
one
yeah.
kick. He knocked the wind out of me twice. And even then, like, I felt, say in the second round, he hurt me in the end of the second round. Like, it does, over time, it does sort of wear you down a bit. And that's what I remember. The first round, felt fine, felt great, didn't really hurt me. And in the second round, he nailed some body shots and knocked the wind out of me. He knocked the wind out of me twice, and then he actually, like, rocked me hard right at the very end. And then when you come back into the third, it 100% does weigh you down a bit. Like, it does wear you out. Like, you might not be physically like puffed out, but yeah, your body just is getting hurt. And that, the shots, like when they're
Accumulation of
when they're
punishment.
throwing the shots, they're building up and that. So
And was he concentrating on a certain area? Did you feel like he was focusing in, or he was just
kicking
looking
it.
for shots?
yeah, he was looking just to stay out. He seemed to be like looking to wait for me to pop, like come into his range, just load those kicks up. Yeah, sort of the game plan he has of everyone. Like, I've found a lot of people having trouble getting in on him. 6'3" welterweight, like, and he's built, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's crazy is like you look at him and like, dude, how are you a welterweight? Like, your legs are huge, your arms are huge, your chest, your shoulders are broad. Yeah, they got big chest, big delts. Yeah.
I don't know how much weight you cut for it.
Well, that's why even after chatting to him, he only gets around like the 90s, like low 90s. But he even said himself he feels huge now, and he's sort of surprised that he makes the weight.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Was it similar? Did you feel like if you watched Michael Venom Page at all, like that he has that sort of style, that real keep away and long distance counter striking?
Yeah, that's exactly sort of what it feels like. But I feel like this guy's power was more lethal. His kick, his punches and that weren't too like devastating, but the power in his kick it was probably more the velocity. That's what just made you go like, holy shit! I've never felt this before. This is another level, and like, it's fast, very fast, but very fast in the way of like point A to point B, like his foot being on the floor to kicking you.
Yeah.
How fast that was, like that's what was, hard, like pretty. Just it was new. It was definitely different. That was that another level. That's where I'm like
Van Damme level.
that's what made you think like, man, there's there's like more levels to this.
Yeah. What was Aki's advice in between rounds? Do you remember it all?
No.
No idea. I don't remember him being there.
Watch out for the head.
Why didn't you duck?
It was a simple thing. I know we were talking about because he was a southpaw. Yeah, when you say if I'm orthodox as a southpaw, you always want to stay on the outside of their lead leg.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously Ike was telling me a lot like just keep on the outside, keep your right, like because obviously we knew his left kicks are very dangerous. Keep that right guard up high, keep getting to the outside, keep trying to cut him off, but then get to the outside and that. Like he was just playing that sort of back and forth game. And that's what was happening a lot in the fight. A lot of people who don't really know the game, or they might just be just casual watchers, they probably won't know what we're doing in there. But that whole time, yeah, it's more of the feet battle.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Finding the outside foot.
Yeah. So with the orthodox southpaw guy, yes, that the positioning battle is the main thing there that's going on throughout the whole fight. A lot of the time we're not even thinking heavily about what's going on up here and punching him in the face. We're just like feet, like that. Like we're trying to win that battle there.
Especially if he's one of his steps is worth two of yours, and it's like, oh damn it, I just got the position, and now he's like 3 meters this way.
And that's where he's very advanced. He's extremely advanced in that way. Just like I said, this is the stuff people won't see. People will just see him throwing big, powerful kicks and landing them. A lot of people don't see that the feet positioning. Like times where I'm getting the good feet positioning, he'll just bail. He'd reset. He'll just like literally run out, like gallop a few steps, reset in the middle, and like sort of force us to come, like we'll go very far out and sort of force us to meet back again.
Yeah, right.
And that's where, but then obviously as we're coming back to meet, he's trying to steal the position, which then helps load his kicks and that. Yeah, and that's
it's a veteran move there.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of time in the fight. That's sort of one of the main focuses there in the fight is the feet positioning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember seeing a breakdown of Robbie Lawler with one of his knockouts, and they were showing exactly that. As soon as he got the outside foot position, he threw a right, and it just landed perfectly. And he's like, he was waiting for that foot to just because he was half a step. He landed it, full foot outside, bang, and it's like there's the KO, and that's how it came. It was just that basically off of that foot, and he was able to gauge the distance correctly and use enough power to throw the strike.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't really know that. Yeah, when you're on the outside, say if I'm orthodox or southpaw, if I'm on the outside of their lead leg, it's very difficult for them to load their power weapons. Very difficult.
Yeah, that's right.
So having now travelled overseas in quick succession over recent months, what are some of the things that you've learned about preparing yourself to travel while still in camp?
What I found probably the biggest difficulties about traveling, like the whole experience while traveling coming into a fight, the biggest difficulty about that is definitely food. Like living out of a hotel, you don't have a kitchen. We don't have a kitchen. Stuff like that. That's different. That's you gotta change. Like a lot changed. Like that week suddenly over there, I couldn't eat how I normally eat. Like I was having to go get like a rotisserie chicken and stuff like that. Like because I couldn't cook anything. Or you're trying to find somewhere to go out that serves the correct food. You know how difficult that is. And that to like certainly if you're on a
you're in Vegas.
That was it was insane trying to get like the right food in Vegas.
We have a buffet.
Yeah.
There's 18 different flavors of ice cream.
That was I find one of the hardest parts when trying to adapt to sort of that prepping overseas.
Was that you were cutting weight as well?
Yes, I mean, yeah. So you're really trying to lose the weight. So in that last week, it's very strict.
Right.
Very, very strict. So that's the hardest thing is like without a kitchen and you're just going out and trying to find the correct meal, or like you're having to go get a meal, but you won't eat your whole meal. You only eat certain parts of your meal, stuff like that. Yeah.
And how about just flying? Because, that's quite an exhausting process in itself. You're stuck in a capsule, terrible oxygen. It's, you got that, that long haul radiation, all of that type of stuff. I mean, how did you feel stepping off the plane, and how long did you have between stepping off the plane and then competing?
I was there for a week. I was there a week prior. Weird. First one, I was actually not too bad. First one, I adjusted straight away when I was in Vegas. One of the reasons why, though, I adjusted to the sleep probably wasn't good is probably because the pool party started at 10 a.m. in the morning.
In the hotel you're at. It's one of the 12 pool parties that were going on that day.
And it's in their summer as well. So
that's awesome.
So that's probably why I actually adjusted to normal sleeping patterns.
So next time you just got to plan a pool party next to your hotel room. Yeah. Got it.
Which hotel were you in?
We're at the Link.
Oh, nice.
So straight across from Caesars.
Awesome.
So that's probably why I adjusted to the sleep quite quickly there. It's like impossible to sleep in past 10. And it's dead smack on 10 o'clock every morning. Pool party every single morning. It wasn't just weekends. And it was actually insane, the sound of that pool party. Like the sound system. Like it sounded like it's in your room.
Wow.
Depending on what way your room faces as well. Mine face the pool. As in, like, mine face the way, like, say, the speakers face the pool.
you.
But, yeah, speakers face my room.
Do you think they knew which room was yours and just prepared accordingly?
Yeah, whereas like some of my team, their room was behind the speakers, way more peaceful. Way more, like, but still, it's still not peaceful.
But they didn't get to go to the pool party though, obviously.
I think I did a couple of times. But then when you went to Atlanta, I struggled. I really struggled to adjust in Atlanta. I don't even think I did adjust. There's probably another 3-hour difference. Even from
Vegas.
I think it's I can't remember. It's about 14 hours. 14 hours different, but then they're an extra 3 hours. But they are found in Atlanta. Man, I didn't adjust. I had some nights where say I'd get around. Well, when I first got there, I didn't actually arrive. So many flight delays and everything. I didn't get there till about 2 a.m. Went to sleep straight away. Next morning, I probably fell asleep quite reasonable time. Thought, all right, cool, sweet, this is awesome. Like probably asleep by like 10 o'clock. Wake up in the morning, but then have a big sleep. But then like the very next day, it got to about 1 p.m. I was just have a little nap. Well, I didn't wake up till 11 p.m. Like, I just had my big sleep there.
Oops.
Yeah. Without even sort of knowing, like it's just gone like that. It's just fast. But then trying to even adjust, it just wasn't happening. Like as in say you even like, all right, I'm gonna try and stay awake, go to sleep at 10 p.m. That way I'm up in the morning and that. But then I'll go to sleep at 10 p.m. I'll just wake up an hour later, wide awake.
Yeah.
I just ran into that issue. Actually just got to the point where you sort of just like
if I'm up, I'm up. Where's the pool?
Yeah. But then I found what was good. Like I did get to the point where I was probably struggling to fall asleep at night, but I didn't fight till like midnight.
Oh yeah, it would have worked out actually.
Yeah. So I even actually did start thinking that I'm like, I'm not even fighting till midnight, so I probably want to actually stay up quite late. I probably actually want to be staying up to like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And that, because last thing I want is
to be tired. It's like 9 o'clock and
So-
you're at the event like falling asleep.
There's a lot of things on a purely practical level that you've really got to consider. I mean, your sleep's being interrupted. You're getting poor quality oxygen in the lead up to a fight. You're getting poor quality food. You've got just your natural body clock to fight against, and then you're fighting at midnight.
Yeah.
It's just it's a weird combination of things to have to deal with in a really short period of time.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where I go back to saying like I'm good at not complaining, but it's just something you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just like I said, you're there. Like you start thinking like this is business. You just got to do it.
And is it also part of your consideration of, well, at least if I'm based over there, I've got the advantage of having my food under control, my body clock's right, I'm going to be better prepared for whatever opportunity might come next?
Yeah, you definitely think that would come into play massively. Certainly if you're based quite close to the state. Of course that's going to be a massive advantage. Like I don't think there's ever going to be an advantage of having to fly across the other side of the world. Like this is always going to be a bit of a downfall, different environments. Yeah, like I said, the different sort of like the air is different, the feel, the humidity,
The accent.
So
Accents take away from your ability to fight.
Probably like, I don't know how much it comes into play, but you probably even think just the quality of the foods and the water. Like the water there is pretty good, but like just that everything is different. Everything, absolutely everything is different. Definitely would play a role. I'm not really one to think too heavily into it. I'm pretty good at just do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
Focus on what you got to focus on. Yeah. So you did do a week. Sorry, when you got to Atlanta, was that a week prior to the fight as well? Okay, and it's still after a week, you were like, I'm still all over the place.
Yeah, I was all over the place with that one. I could not get that under control. Yeah, I struggled hard.
How long did you stay after the fight?
About another 4 nights, I think.
Okay.
We travelled back through Vegas, LA, and home.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. When did I see you at the airport?
Yeah, that's when I was coming home.
When you got home?
Yeah,
that wasn't long ago. That was at the day before the AWE. I was picking up all the arm wrestlers from the airport, and then all of a sudden Shane Mitchell said, "Hey, what?"
Feeling like a corpse.
Yeah,
that was horrible. Man, the flight delays is insane. I think I had about 8 flights. Only 1 didn't get delayed or cancelled.
We had the same problem with one of our guys that we were trying to get over from the US.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. I had a 16-hour layover in Atlanta airport just because of cancelled flights and start off with delays. Got delayed 3 times, then cancelled.
That's what they did with his. They cancelled it, they rescheduled it, and then they cancelled the reschedule.
And did you have those difficulties in travelling over there?
Yeah, so every single on the way there,
On the way there.
every single flight was delayed.
Sorry,
Yeah.
wow.
That's so weird. It must
So
just
must fuck with your preparation. Like just
It just drains you. Yeah,
Ju-
like
yeah.
sort of when it's like that, like when you're just having to deal with all like going up to counters and talking to people and figuring out what the hell is going on. And I find like over in America, the customer service isn't as like quick and sharp as it is here.
yeah.
Some of them over there do not give a crap. Like that. Yeah, like as in there's here I feel like they're a bit more. Just the systems they have in play, a bit more. Yeah, it just works well. I think we've got a lot less people, easier to do.
Yeah.
Over there, the population's hell of a lot. Like their airports are busy. Their airports are insane. Like Atlanta airport was crazy. So when they cancelled one of our flights, well, they cancelled multiple flights. I think it was due to the weather. The lineup that just instantly happened, hundreds and hundreds of people. I think we don't really get that. Like Adelaide Airport, you're not really going to get that. So over there, just the whole managing it just seems to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Which then you can see why they get fed up. Like you can just tell when they're at the counter, they're just over it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We the same. It was Artem Taranenko come flying out of Florida to get here to Adelaide, and it took 5 days to get him here. It was insane, and it was I've got like an itinerary which they load up, and we did it through Webjet, and it's sort of his original flight plan was 3 flights here, 3 flights back, so 6 in total. It ended up being like 21.
So how?
He's like, "Can you check me in?" I'm like, "There's 7 flights that say I can check you in. Which one are you on?"
Like my corner, when they come over, they didn't arrive to. I was actually weight cutting the flights.
Oh.
They were that delayed. They were meant to be there, maybe like 2 days prior, but just because of how many delays I had, like they actually rocked up like the morning of my weight cut. Yeah,
And who was in your corner?
I had we had Brad and Ike.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice to have some familiar faces around.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
he's getting close. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's good to have them around, but like I said, they didn't get there. Like they got there so just because of the delays.
Yeah. So all of those things, you don't have your corner with you. You're not eating well. You can't sleep well. You're out of pattern. It's you've got time zones, pool parties, speakers, all of this to deal with, and somehow you're meant to be the world champion.
Yeah.
and the 15-minute wait, like halfway along the entrance. Yeah,
I feel like they're sabotaged. That's what I think. Yeah.
the poison drink water.
That's right. Did you know about that?
Yeah, the pool party is the greatest one. That's the funniest story. Alarm. Didn't even need to set an alarm. Pool party.
You just wake up to beach balls, just fly.
Oh, yeah.
So was there any thought after, as you're thinking of rebuilding, was it like, I'm done with overseas now, I'll just, I'll keep to Australia and I'll keep knocking people out? And was that anything that, no?
No, that's one thing I go back to is after having the loss, having a bit of a, like, I guess you could say I was a bit down. I was a bit down straight after the fight. Always going to hate losing. Very competitive person. One thing I just sort of end up saying to myself is just I don't want to go backwards. I'm not going to go backwards. Not going to go back to where I come from. Like as in, I'm not going to go back to just doing that and then boom, regional fights, not really working towards anything.
Yeah.
Like I'll try to always find a path. So like somewhere new, grow. I'll just try and grow somehow. That's why I was just telling myself, like, no, not going backwards. I'm going to keep growing. Even if I didn't win, like I'll find a way to keep growing. Like even if I no longer signed to PFL, I'll find another route. I'll find something else to do. And that, but as long as it's gone up, not going back.
Yeah.
So the next step is sell on up and get that ticket and head over. And have you got a gym in mind or anybody that you're chatting to at the moment?
No, nothing. Yeah, I'm waiting to see what happens with my contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, waiting to see that. Then work out what's going to go on from there.
Yeah.
Would you want to go? Is there anywhere that you sort of like top start, like Extreme Couture or AKA or?
Extreme would be good, but that's like I said where my last place come from. So even though that's not a sort of make it bright like a doesn't sort of I would say like a definite no just because it's there, but at the same time it does come with the part of like, oh well, if I stay in the PFL, he's in my division,
right? Yeah.
Like, is it the most like realistic thing to do? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's so many big like strong gyms out there, but
TriStar or
so you got the ones out all out there. Florida, I've got a few good ones out there. New York.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
they're all
like-
over now as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
Yeah, they sort of are everywhere. There's some big gym, like there's some like, a lot of gyms out there with good quality fighters now. So I don't think finding the gym is the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, you've progressed because you're sitting at sort of that top, that regional circuit, and then it's like, okay, now we've moved up and we're in the PFL, and then even if you don't win the fights there, it's like, I'm not going back down.
Nah, can't do
It's
that.
like, I'm this level now.
Yeah.
It'd be unfair for all these people to fight against you. Not only that, but it's like, I'm not going backwards. I'm going to keep going up. What's the level above the PFL? Because that's what I want to be looking at, So, yeah, I can see the mentality there you've got for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing I want to be doing is any back steps here. Like, of course, there's definitely back steps in the way of come on, like lose. To me, losing is you get bumped back a bit. You do.
Yeah.
And that, but definitely the decision right now isn't to go back even more.
Yeah.
Definitely have to look.
So you're almost like, regardless of PFL's decision at this stage, I'm still moving forward. I'm putting myself in a position
Yeah,
to...
I'll still push. I'll definitely still push. Like, say, if PFL were like, all right, cool, we're letting you go, I'd still like, all right, cool, so be it. And then I'll be going to my management like,
What's next?
what's next? Where can we go? What can we do? Let's reach out. Let's start. Let's look for something else. I definitely won't be taking a back step and trying to go like, all right, cool, I'm just going to chill out now and take some easy fights.
And when do you expect to hear from PFL?
I would hope. Actually, there is no timeline, but I would hope
You'll just get a message and you wake up.
Hey, you're fighting Sabu.
rematch.
That's tomorrow. Oh, no.
Obviously, a lot goes into getting yourself to that position where you can perform overseas. Any sponsors or anybody you'd like to thank? Because I know there was a few people that got behind you, local businesses and the like.
Yeah, so my major sponsor, Hydrolife, they're definitely the number one. They've helped me.
So
out
what do they?
much.
What did Hydrolife do for those that don't know?
A lot of the recovery stuff. So the drips is it definitely helps just your overall well-being. That's the main thing that they're sort of getting heavy into there. But
And you don't have to be an elite athlete either.
No,
They really design it around your own individual health needs, what it is that you're looking for, if it's more energy or better sleep,
just
or
feeling better. Yeah,
feeling better.
Yeah, I think people actually be surprised. I was the same as well. Like I used to think, I'm always tired. I'm always exhausted. I'm always not in a highly motivated, feeling great mood. Never.
Yeah.
And that I think a lot of people think that's just the norm. And then when you actually go get like drips and stuff like that, you're actually surprised. Like
You found another level.
sort of how much more refreshed you feel.
I did a arm wrestling demonstration at their gym on Tuesday night, and they had a whole bunch of different sponsors, and Hydrolife was one of those. They were doing the drips on people. I just kicked in the fact that was the same people, so I was like, oh,
They're at the upper pool.
yeah.
Yeah, but they're looking. I think they're starting to very span out now. They're taking on quite a few athletes by the look of it. So it looks like they're starting to really try and build the business.
And where are they based?
So right now, they've got out in Glenelg.
Right.
But I think I believe they're going to be looking to sort of span out around all of Adelaide.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the full. Like they said, they are sort of just sort of come into the whole scene. So I think they got some big plans ahead. I don't know exactly what, but they got some big plans ahead.
Because they did the drips. They had a few things going on. I didn't sort of look over exactly what, but there was the drips, and then there was a whole bunch of other things that they had as well. Is it just drips that they're doing, or is it
A lot of recovery stuff? Well, they have like the compression boots and stuff like that.
I did notice that. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a whole big range. Like I said, they're very new to the whole scene. Like, as in they're just sort of starting up now. So I think they've got a lot to come as well.
awesome?
So Hydrolife down there at Glenelg, and you may have even seen them at Apex Sport Fest or at a DFC event as well, where they've been demonstrating their wares or at
Gym, they're getting around. That's good. Awesome.
Yeah, good on them. So they've jumped on board, which is great because that's a pretty practical sponsor from your end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then other than that, you guys.
Oh, AWE.
AWE. Oh.
We've got a spot in the shorts.
Yeah,
so
it's
I
on
forgot
there.
about that one.
If you press a button, the shirt does that.
Yeah, you guys have been massive help. So I appreciate that massively because it's what we're doing is quite difficult to do without sponsors. So yeah, the help's been much appreciated.
Oh, that's all right. It's
fantastic,
always
yeah.
great to get behind, somebody who's doing all the right things in their world.
Yeah,
so
for
which
sure.
is
Yeah.
exactly what we believe. Anybody else out there?
So already mentioned him. Yes.
Lemmy Largo.
Yeah. So, great. Obviously, he's hooked us up with the suits and stuff. So Yeah, gotta
What,
shout out.
Gotta love Milo.
How do people get in touch with Lummy?
Well, they can head over to Lamilago's website where you can buy stuff basically off the rack if you want to, regardless where you might be anywhere around the world, or you can head down to Rundle Mall there and get yourself on the corner of Rundle and Stevens Place and get yourself fitted out for a more of a bespoke garment, much like this gentleman's wearing right there, or maybe as I might be wearing right now, as a matter of fact.
If you mention your name, do you get?
I think he charges you
doubles
more.
the cost,
But if you mention Shane's name, you get 10% off.
Yeah,
So the better mention Shane. Don't worry.
Like, I'll tell you what, with a suit, so this is my first proper like tailor-made suit. I'll tell you what though, with say before when you get your nice suit and you think, yeah, this is nice. Like when you just went and bought one from the shelf, and you think, but then you always thought like, do you need to get a tailor-made suit? I always did think that, and then when I finally got one, I was just like, I probably won't go back. I won't go back now. Like,
You haven't taken it off, have you?
No, but it's one of those. Even when I talk to my friends who have gone through like Lamilago as well, a lot of them even just said how surprised they were. Yeah, so yeah, obviously they're a sponsor, so I'm going to talk them up. But even if they weren't a sponsor, I'm impressed. Definitely impressed.
Yeah.
Right. No, you looked $1 million when you walked through the door. I was like, hey, who?
Hey, or maybe
who's
you won.
this? Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you won $1 million.
Spend it all on suits.
Probably not good in a way now because I'm only probably going to wear a tailor-made suit when I want a suit now.
Yeah, that's right.
Nah, it's worth it. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's a special feeling and doesn't cost that much more. So that's one of the things that a lot of people kind of get caught up on is like if you've got to wear trousers and a jacket occasionally for work, for instance. Well, it doesn't cost that much more to get something to fit you perfectly, and it makes all the world of difference. Even a cheap suit, well fitted, looks $1 million. So
and the feel, the feel you have yourself when you're wearing it is so much better.
And he lets you choose things like buttons and the lining and all of that. So you get to be a bit creative and have something that's completely different that nobody else is ever going to own. It's just going to be your special garment. But did you get your name or your initials on there as well?
I got my name on the jacket, my initials on the pants.
So no one can steal it now? Yeah. So your brother can't get hold of it or anything? Awesome. Well, so what's next for you, mate?
Look, from here, the fighting, it's pretty much just sit back, wait a little bit, find out where we go with the PFL. Hopefully I'll find that out I know that within the next month. Yeah. Hope so. That's the next step. And then from there, I guess it's time to level up again. Yeah, like I said, how he was mentioned before, I think a few little adjustments in life, a few little sacrifices here to gain here. That's sort of what's next.
What potentially can happen with PFL? Would they put you back into another series of tournaments or something, or is it that
in the meantime I'll just get they call it a showcase fight, just a fight. Yeah. In the meantime, I'll definitely like to fight by the end of the year again. So I'll definitely look to just get a fight somewhere. Then next year the tournaments don't start again until next year. Right. So I'd have to wait and see about that if I'm still with people.
So in between they do have showcase. Yeah. So okay. So you can
just start a beef with somebody on the internet and be like, hey, someone else has signed a PFL and try to get.
Is there anyone in your division that you kind of do have your eye on that you think's a good stylistic matchup?
No, not really, to be honest. Like outside, because I've been so focused on the guys in the tournament, I haven't really even looked out to what else they've got signed to the roster that's not in the tournament. I haven't actually looked too much into it. But I'm obviously I'm in a situation where I'm not too fast. Yeah. Just like I said, I'm not gonna fight anyone better than what I just fought. So
yeah.
So
there's some comfort from that after
all.
Definitely. Yes. I mean, so nothing really phases me as to who they can match me up with. I'm not too fast.
When you fought the world champion and you lose and you still want to keep fighting, that says something more about you, I think, than it does anything else, mate. Yeah. So well done.
Yeah, thanks. And I think that goes, like I said, with anything in life, though. That's like just one advice I've been trying to give the newbies coming through now, the amateurs, is just like certainly if they come off a loss, it's like don't get too chewed up about it. Like I said, just it doesn't matter too much. One thing I took out of it as well is whether you win or lose, like the people who are real close to you and the people who love you still love you. Like the people who actually mean a lot to you, they still love you. They still think you're awesome and that. And then like I said, it's not the end of the world. Just last thing you want to do is have that step back. Don't go backwards. Yeah, even if you get those losses. Like I said, the answer is never to just quit and go backwards.
Well,
never.
This started off as a combat podcast and ended up being a self-development podcast, I think, in the end. So some very wise words.
I honestly think fighting is one of the best for your self-development, for sure. Like the tests that come your way, certainly if you want to fight on a professional level and get to the point like global stage, sort of the challenges that come along the way, definitely make you a better man or woman.
Exciting to know that the best is still to come.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, AAA Shane Mitchell, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast once again.
Thanks for having me.
Looking dapper, and of course we'll look forward to catching up with you again very, very soon. And to all those wonderful people that have been tuning into the podcast, we thank you. If you haven't already got your gums around some of this stuff, it's the Bunsters shit the bed sauce. It's a 12 out of 10. So if Tabasco's not doing it for you, it's time to man up and get yourself some Bunsters. And of course, don't forget the Roll Clean soap. So if you've been rolling on the mats or just gripping up in the club rooms, and you maybe you suspect those people that you're gripping up with and rolling around with aren't the cleanest people in the world. Well, Roll Clean soaps, that's the way to go. Natural disinfectant made with all organic products right here and locally. And of course, our friends at Barbell Foods. Barbell Foods makes you stronger. It's biltong, it's air dried. It's not like jerky, oven dried. It's healthier. It makes you stronger. Just look at Matt. He hardly had biceps before. Since the biltong. There you go. So thanks so much. It's been wonderful to have you with us, and we look forward to bringing you more next time.
Thank you.